You're now watching the Mike Missanelli podcast on the BetRivers Network.
Let's look at the Sixers quickly, because I also want to look into the strange case of Kelly Oubre. Joel Embiid at 50 last night. Again, I here's the thing about the NBA with me. I can't stand to watch bad teams. I refused to watch the Wizards last night. Now, I checked in on the game because I saw he's having a monster game. Bad basketball and bad teams make me nuts.
I'm the same way with the NFL.
So get this. I watched Penn State, Maryland instead of the Eagles. Instead of the Sixers and the Wizards. And then, of course, I checked back and I saw he had 50.
That's great.
All right. So I can't stand teams like the Wizards. I hate the fact that franchises can't build up to a point where they're representative. So in any event, 50 is 50. And I started to think about the Sixers, and I go, can the Sixers win a big game without Embiid? And people will say, well, look what they did against Boston. When the Celtics face a team that didn't have Maxey or Embiid that night, it's human nature for that team to let down a little bit. So we'll win this game easy. And they don't play on the razor's edge. So I kind of discounted that game. And I look at all the other contenders and I go, can the Celtics win without Tatum? Yeah, they can, because they have other guys that'll pick up the slack. Can the Bucks win without Lillard or Giannis? Well, yeah, they have in the past. Can the Sixers win without Embiid? And I go, no. They can't win with Embiid. I don't know what that says other than what their overall strength is as a team. I know Nick Nurse gets a lot of love. They've lost a lot of games this year already. I think the job that he has done is a little bit overrated. They've lost 7 games. But people look at it like, okay, well, Harden's out of there. I like the way they're freewheeling, moving offense. Well, of course they're going to be freewheeling and more moving, but then without the anchor of James Harden in there, that doesn't tell me whether they're good enough to contend. So I just want to hold that thought. As you know, I love the Sixers. I'm a big Sixer guy. I long for the day when they can get back to an NBA final. And I hope this is the year. But I look at it and I go, I don't know. Embiid's got to be superhuman every night. Maxey's got to be superhuman every night for that team to beat a really good team in a 7-game series. All right, now let's get to the Oubre stuff. This is a very strange issue. And I know it's funny because people don't care if it's a strange issue. And so I'm howling at the moon here. Nobody's going to even care what I say about this because Kelly Oubre, who was back last night, played 19 minutes, and he helped him. He had 12 points. And people in this town have a way of looking past certain things when the guy we're talking about is actually a good player. That's human nature of fans, but particularly in Philadelphia. So Kelly Oubre meets the media for the first time on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever it was. And this is what he had to say. He said that this is an ongoing matter and the police are investigating. And I'm going, what? So I'm going to let you hear the exchange with Kelly Oubre and the fan. Now, I'll give Keith Pompey credit. He covers the Sixers for the Philadelphia Inquirer. We've had him on this podcast, and he tried to get to the crux of the matter. And he said, Kelly, what really happened that night? And Kelly Oubre wouldn't give any details except to say that there's an ongoing investigation, and I'm not going to say any more about it. So let's hear what he had to say. And it's funny because this is a situation where old journalists would take the occasion to really get to the crux of the matter. New school journalism does not. And here's why. There has been a proliferation of blogs and startup media outlets that feel intimidated by a team's view of them and their ability to cover the team and still be allowed to cover the team. So if a team is displeased with a line of questioning, they have a chance to cut those people off. The landscape has changed to the point where you just have 2 newspapers and 2 guys that would hammer for answers. That doesn't exist anymore. So what you're going to hear in this press conference is that after when there should be follow-up questions, here comes a question about the team. Like what? Like the transition from you got Kelly Oubre now, and you really have to get to the crux of that issue. From then goes to, well, how do you think the team's playing with blah, blah. What? Well, that's not the appropriate time for a question there. The team is second. The issue is rolling. Keep going with it. All right, let's hear it.
So, Kelly, what actually happened that night?
Well, actually, first and foremost, before anything, I just want to say thank you to my family, my friends, the 76ers organization, especially Coach Nurse, for the utmost support throughout this whole process. But like I've spoken to the police about this situation, and they have an ongoing investigation. So I've spoken to who I need to speak to about it, and I'll keep it with the way that is, and I won't be speaking on any details about that because they are looking into it. So,
Kelly, how badly do you want the person who hit you to be caught?
Like I said, man, like I'm all for love, and peace. But at the end of the day, this is a serious situation. But I'm gonna let the situation handle itself from there. And I don't hate anybody. I don't want any wishing any malintent on anybody. So.
But Kelly, there was a lot of people who were saying, okay, well, this doesn't seem right, and questioning you if you were telling the truth or not. Did that hurt you? Was that disappointing?
This was and is like a very traumatic situation for me and my family. So, I just wish that my life wasn't like the Truman Show, where everybody can kind of watch it and have their own opinion about my life. This is very hard for us to have to deal with, and me to miss being on the court, which keeps me sane. And a lot of people are very inconsiderate and insensitive to try to worry about video cameras and shit about something that happened with my life, and it's very detrimental to me and missing time in my job. So, yeah, I'm just really blessed that it wasn't worse than what it is, and that I'm able to come back to work and smile and walk and talk and breathe. So yeah, that's just what I have to say about the conspiracy theorists, and I love them too. Like I sit there on my downtime and look at them, but not with my life, bro. It's just serious.
So you're new to town. Were you sure where you were when it happened?
Like I said, I won't be answering any questions about the details of the situation. So.
How frustrating was it to have the start that you had to your season, playing some of the best basketball of your career, and then have it come to such an abrupt halt and now have to work your way back to where you were?
I mean, it was tough, but I know for a fact in life everything happens for a reason. So, it was what they say, minor setback for a major comeback, right? Like, I'm ready to hoop, man. This has been a long process for me, and I'm just ready to finally be with my guys and, perform, go to war with coach, and, make the organization look good.
Yeah, while you were sidelined, whether you were watching on TV or in the last couple games since you've been with them, what have you observed about the growth that they've had over the last few weeks?
We fight every night. No matter who we got on the court, no matter what the lineups are, no matter, we have a really solid, good team, and we fight every single night. And you don't get that a lot. A lot of teams, they just give up and they quit, because certain guys are out, but we never do. And I love the resiliency, but it's time for us to kind of take that next step and paying attention to the details and doing what we do in practice to carry over to the game.
All right. Now, that's difficult to say? Okay, so what happened that night? Well, it's an ongoing investigation. All right. Is it that difficult for Kelly Oubre to say, well, here's what happened. I was walking, and it was on my bike, and a guy came around a corner, and his rearview mirror smashed me in the ribs. That's what happened. I don't know why there's no video of it. I don't know, but that's what happened. Instead, he says, well, it's an ongoing police investigation, and blah, blah, blah. I don't. Does that mean to the average? Maybe I'm different. Does that to the average person? Does that suggest that he's hiding something? And why is he hiding something? That's where you go as a questioner. You go, well, you really didn't answer the question. How were you hit by the car? What do you remember about it? Was it the rearview mirror? And by the way, like that Ring video camera where you came with your bicycle and you told your wife you got hit by a car. How did that video get to be public? Did they poach that from you, or did you volunteer that video to prove something? Like, there's 100 questions that you can ask to get the real story. He is hiding a real story. Now, maybe that doesn't matter to you, and maybe it shouldn't matter to me, but I look at it more like the journalistic angle and how I was trained, as opposed to what his personal life is about. I am tasked with getting answers. I am tasked with getting the story. I can't stand for somebody saying, well, it's a police investigation. And I would go, as a follow-up, I go, well, what does that mean exactly? Did you not get hit by a car? Like, you were on your bicycle. When were you on your bicycle? Did you get hit when you were on your bicycle? Were you not on your bicycle? There's like a line of questioning you can go into to get what the real story is. And I know there's people listening to this blog, and they're going, hey, Mike, I don't care what the real story is. He's one of our players, and we should just move on. All right. Well, I'm not cut that way. I'm sorry. I am not cut with just, let's just move on, because the truth always sets everybody free, including Kelly Oubre. Let's come out with the story. What exactly are you hiding? All right.
Well, Mike, what would
That's my
Stan
rant.
Hockman have done the other night? Like, Stan would have just gone forever. He would have.
Listen, I know those days are over where you
know,
get the
man.
hard-hitting journalists, but I'm going to, and I'll give Keith Gumpay credit because he tried to get it.
He did.
But there are other people then that need to get in there. And you can't ask a basketball question after he gives you that kind of an answer. And I shake my head and I go, okay, maybe I just can't handle change. And I mean, maybe it's me. And I know it's me. Because I get the feedback when I'm talking about this on Twitter. People go, let it go, Mike, move on. Why? Why would you move on? It's a player who is in the news, who plays for your team, who didn't tell the truth. Because if he was telling the truth, there would have been evidence of the truth. So what was it? It could be something harmless. I don't know. Did you stumble off a curb? Did you have a couple of pops and lost your balance and you fell on a curb? If so, what's wrong with that? Just come cleaning. Oh, yeah, I've done that before. I fell off a curb. I had a couple of, like, I don't understand. What could it be that would be so bad that would be inexplicable that you wouldn't have to explain it?
This new generation of reporters are more interested in being friends with these guys.
I guess. And listen, I know it's a tough landscape out there. I can tell you for a fact that these organizations put heat. There are so many people trying to cover teams these days. These organizations can go, they can Gestapo you. And I understand these young kids that are in this business who come into the business, frankly, more as fans than journalists. I mean, let's face it, there are 4 fanboy Sixer blogs. And like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be a fanboy Sixer blog if that's what you want to do. But there's the Sixer Sense, there's the Liberty Ballers, there's this, there's that. And they're in it to be fans because they're younger people. Younger people get into it right off their fandom. It's like I did way back in the day. I guess I was a fan. I went into journalism. As soon as I went into journalism, I had to drop my fan hat on the ground. It was over.
The Flyers hat came right off.
So,
you're a big Flyers guy when you were young.
But it's different, and I get it, and I apologize if I belabor the issue. The press conference to me seemed ridiculous that the guy wouldn't say what happened. I just it's beyond me to comprehend why he wouldn't say, I got hit by a car. I'm sorry. Listen, man, I'm sorry. I got banged by a car. I don't know why there's no video. I don't get it. But that's what happened. He doesn't say that. He says there's an ongoing investigation, which leads me to believe, as a natural skeptic, oh, well, he's hiding something. Like, what normal person could hear that and go, yeah, you got hit by a car? Like, all right. Okay, let's move on. This is very interesting because I'm reading the Inquirer today. Let's get to the. We won't bury the lead. Taylor Swift has been named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. I agree with. There's no bigger celebrity. There's no bigger person in the news than Taylor Swift. I believe she deserves Person of the Year in Time Magazine because everybody is taught. She is the subject of every conversation on everybody. Middle-aged women to older women to younger kids to men, because she's now with the Travis Kelce, the whole bit. There is no bigger spotlight on a person, so I'm okay with it. The Inquirer today has a headline that says, Berks County woman named Time's 2023 Person of the Year. And I'm thinking to myself, are they playing a gag on me? Yeah, I know she's from Wyomissing. She's from Berks County. But is the headline trying to Is that supposed to be funny?
Tongue in cheek,
Darren,
maybe?
or is it some nerdy person who's making the headline who actually thought that was the headline that he should write or she should write?
I think there's a little tongue in cheek there.
Is it tongue in
I think
cheek?
so.
Okay, because I didn't know. I don't know. Like maybe it's somebody that just because we are all taught in journalism to milk the local connection, and maybe this was somebody who writes the headline. It's not a reporter who said, "All right, it's milk the local connection." The Berks County, it's tied into Berks County. I don't know, but
dude, there's
she's
not a
so beyond being a Berks County woman winning the Woman of the Year that I don't know. It's like making my head spin.
Dude, Ross Tucker doesn't refer to her as Berks County's Taylor Swift.
All right, let's move on. On that theme, there was another Person of the Year named last week, Sportsman of the Year for Sports Illustrated. Now, I'm pretty sure that Sports Illustrated did this because they are also desperate as an entity, and they have to get as many eyeballs on their product as possible, to the point where, like, a couple of weeks ago, it was revealed that they had AI write a story for them, artificial intelligence, for a story for the vaunted Sports Illustrated, which I got from when I was 12 years old till I was 30. I got, because my mother used to renew the subscription every year. That was her gift to me every year because she knew I was involved in sports journalism and she wanted me to have Sports Illustrated. It's taken a step down. I used to run to the mailbox for my Sports Illustrated. Yeah. So the Sportsman of the Year was Deion Sanders. And here's, I will have a one-word question to this. Why? Why would Deion Sanders be Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year? Can you tell me, Darren, do you have an answer to this?
I don't. Well, the only answer I can think of is because of the explosion of popularity he brought to Colorado football 3 months ago for about 2 weeks. And then he proceeded to get his doors blown off, which is fine. I think Colorado's program will improve because he's going to get much better recruits.
Dude, he won 4 games.
I know, but he
had a 2-week spurt where he was popular. Sportsman of the Year?
I know.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
He won 4 games. Well, because celebrities flocked to Boulder to kiss his ring? Like, how is Deion Sanders Sportsman of the Year? The same guy who came in when he was hired and said, "You all are inferior. Get out." Everybody's in this program stinks, and I want you to transfer. That's Sportsman of the Year?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been my pick at all. He literally had 3 years of success in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
All right. Well, anyway, Sports Illustrated, you can't fool me. I know what you were up to there. All right, let me move on.
I used to love Sports Illustrated. I don't think I've ever seen a medium fall that far from grace.
Listen, every print media entity falls from grace these days. So it is just the sign of the times. Now, speaking of hot takes, David Carr. He was a failed NFL quarterback. Was he the number 1 pick?
He was.
He might have been the number 1 pick
overall, I believe.
Number 1 pick overall, and had a failed. And now his brother has lasted in the league for a long time, but he's not good either, Derek. So David Carr is now doing media. David Carr said last week that the Eagles should be starting Marcus Mariota over Jalen Hurts for a variety of reasons. One was, I think he threw in that to keep Jalen healthy for the playoffs. But the other one was that he couldn't read defenses. Now, this is a racial trope that goes back and sets time back, that the black quarterback can't read defenses. David Carr should be ashamed of himself for going down that avenue. Now, why would he do that? Why would he go down that avenue? Is he stupid enough to actually believe that they should play Mariota, or that Jalen Hurts, who had an MVP-like season last year, can't read defense? Or is he going so far for a hot take that no one on earth would believe him? See, a hot take, there's got to be some semblance of truth in it so people can actually say, he might be right. Nobody on earth with this hot take is saying, you know what, he might be right. What motivates somebody to do this? I don't know.
Mike, this is something we talk about a lot. When this podcast started, one of the things we talked about and mentioned and to promote it was that we're not hot takes guys. I don't understand how the popularity of hot takes guys has risen so much, and the fact that they grow like weeds within organizations. They're like Hydra. You cut the head off of one, and 4 more pop up. It's ridiculous. I don't know what he was thinking. It's so stupid. It's not even worth.
I thought that was a planaria.
Hydra's, I don't know.
It's a Hydra?
I think it's a Hydra.
A planaria that you cut it in half and it regenerates. I don't know. You might be right. That was 8th grade biology.
Let's get into botanical discussion here.
You know, in 8th grade biology, young Mikey Miss hatched chicks.
Did you?
In a homemade incubator?
You sat on the eggs for 8 months?
I didn't. No, I made a box with a light bulb in it to generate heat and a pail of water to regulate the humidity for the perfect conditions. And I hatched a couple chicks with fertile eggs that I bought on a farm. But anyway, I'm off the subject.
Yeah, we're a little off here.
But anyway, I don't know how we got on biology, but since this is what I do, I spin off into these wild things with Mike Unleashed. Yeah. So this is my last thing for Mike Unleashed. I don't do fast food a lot. Occasionally, I'll get a yearning for a Whopper, which to me is the greatest fast food sandwich ever created. And sometimes I'll have a hankering for a McDonald's burger. McDonald's has just changed their burgers. They're going more with a fresh look with a different bun, and they're changing the cheese configuration and all that stuff. And I had one yesterday. It was pretty good. But now when you go to the drive-thru window, you are always asked, are you using our app today? And I'm going, what is the purpose of a McDonald's app when you can just as easily go through the drive-thru booth to get your food? What is the McDonald's app actually supposed to do? It confuses me. I don't get it. If you order your food in the app, you have to park, then you have to go inside and you have to get your food from the rack. That kind of defeats the fast foodness of it, doesn't it?
I don't even see the point of it.
Am I wrong here? What does the app do for you at McDonald's?
My dog's eating toys over here. I don't. There's no point. None for fast food. None. It's quicker to go there and order and just pick it up.
So for the app, again, it's not like as soon as your car shows up, there's a flashing siren that says, so-and-so's here, run the food out to them. You still have to park and go inside the place like you're ordering anyway, and you'll just find your bag. To say nothing now of thieves in the night. Like, I'm hungry, I'm fast food, I don't have any scratch. The McDonald's app bin is over there. I walk in, I'm Joe Blow from Cinnaminson, and you take the bag, no matter what it is, you got free food. I have just exposed the fallacy of the app.
I don't see a point in having a fast food app. An app for any fast food, like you said.
All right. There you go. So that's the end of Mike Unleashed for the day on the Mike Miss podcast, brought to you by BetRivers. And now I'll have a parting thought, but let's get to our 3 questions for Mikey Miss.
Oh, 3 questions for Mikey Miss. Here we go, Mike. First of 3 questions today. You have a nice home. I like your home a lot. When I bought my home, I bought it for 2 reasons. One, I love my fireplace. And the other thing on my home I have a fairly large deck in the back of my home that was already built. One of those nice Trex material decks. What is the one house amenity you have that you can't live without? Like, that's like, oh, love this house. That's why I bought the house. Because you have a lot of nice features in your home as well.
I didn't buy this. This house was built. So it was an existing house that a builder purchased and rebuilt. And so I didn't buy the house for a particular feature. So I added features. And one of the features that I added, I installed a hot tub in my backyard. But before that, I had the builder install a jet tub in my upstairs bathroom. Now, taking a bath is one thing. Taking a bath with the jet tub is special.
That sounds
because
remarkable.
all these pulsating things come out of the side, and there's nothing like when your back is hurting to either go in the hot tub outside where it's a little chilly, and you don't want to schlep out there when it's cold with a robe and a whole bit. You can just go upstairs to the jet tub. So yeah, small matter. I don't really have any crazy things in my house. But the jet tub was one thing that I insisted on. They put in.
Having a bad back, that is a phenomenal answer. It's something I'm going to look into as soon as we're done this show. Okay,
Yes.
Question number 2. Mike, do you have any normal addictions? Like, are you addicted to anything, it's not going to hurt you? Like, the one addiction I have is vanilla milkshakes. I could drink 3 to 5 a day, every day, if they're made with the right ice cream and the right amount of vanilla extract. All that. I love a good vanilla shake. Do you have any normal addictions?
No. I have no normal addictions. I don't have an addictive personality at all. The one thing I would say that I have, I can't live without is a cup of coffee in the morning. Just one. Like that's the first thing I do in the morning is brew a cup of coffee and read all the materials that I have to read. So I would say if I was deprived of that, maybe I would get the shakes. I don't know. Just one. I'm not addicted to caffeine. I just have the one cup of coffee is the ritual for me. But it's not addictive.
My new thing is I do an espresso in the morning, and then right after lunch, I get a nice good cup of coffee after that. That's okay. Question number 3, Mike. Real simple. What do you want for Christmas?
What do I want for Christmas? I have no idea how to answer a question like this. But I did blurt out to my daughter who asked me the same question. Give me the Analon X frying pans. I do a lot of cooking, and non-stick frying pans wear out eventually, and so I'm at the bare bones on my pans, and I cook a lot. So I don't know if I'm going to get that, but I've seen this commercial about the Analon X that has the grid on the bottom, and the oil stays in the middle of the pan. So that's what I want for Christmas.
That's a good answer. It's a good set of pans. It's a good set of equipment to have. Like you, I cook a lot as well, and that's 3 questions. For Mikey Miss.
All right. There's that Made In commercial with pans, the 2 restaurateurs, the fancy restaurant. I looked up this restaurant. Yeah. It's in Chicago. These 2 guys, and it's weird. I forget what the name of the restaurant is, but it's weird because they cook all this gastronomical stuff, and it's like what they cook is that you can't. It's whatever they decided to cook that day, and it's astronomically priced.
They call them.
I forget what they advertise. Got these pans called Made In, and they're very expensive. I looked at the price of them. All right, that's 3 questions for Mikey Miss.
What's an expensive pan go for these days? Yeah, I mean, are they like $100?
More than that, or? like that Made In pan is probably $250.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, you got.
If you're a chef, it isn't. Yeah, you're a chef. You rely on your equipment. Me, I rely on this, my hands, my abilities. All right, parting shot. The Yankees made a trade for Juan Soto. I find it interesting that these teams, they like to stack hitters together. And they go, as long as we have these hitters, we're good. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. Because you forget about 2 little elements that make your team well-rounded enough to actually win something. One is starting pitching, and the other is defense. The Yankees' outfield now will be Alex Verdugo, who they got from the Red Sox, Aaron Judge, 6'8", playing center field, and Juan Soto in right. Now, if they think that Aaron Judge can play center field for an entire season, they're delusional, because I could tell you that within the first month of the season, he's going to be injured. So it's good that the Yankees make the splash because they had to. They were run down and nobody's talking about him anymore. So here they throw at you Juan Soto and Giancarlo Stanton. It's pretty much done. And he swings a bat and he gets injured. And Aaron Judge. And that's formidable in the middle of your lineup. But if you can't catch anything in the outfield, as we've seen with the Phillies, then you're not going to win. So the Phillies stood pat. They made no deals at the winter meetings. And the only issue they have right now is that Bryce Harper wants to re-up with the Phillies until he's 74. Playing. His contract goes till he's 39. Boris is talking about adding 6 years so he can play until he's 45. Now, come on now. All right. So, Bryce, I love you. I'm going to look forward to the next 5 years. I don't know about extension. All right, that's going to end it for the Mike Missanelli podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody, and let's go Eagles. Let's see. I hope they can pull something off Sunday. And if they do, and we're talking about, we have a different scope and a different conversation next week, that they still could get number 1 seed and they still could get to the Super Bowl. So for Darren, I'm Mike. Again, you can email me, mike@mikemiss.com. That's mike@mikemiss.com. You can check me out on Twitter at mikemiss25. If you want a Cameo shout out, just go to cameo.com and research my name, and I'll give you a personalized phone video shout out that'll come right to you with little holiday greetings. I'll wear a Santa hat. Last year in a couple of these cameos, I wore my Santa hat. That was a jolly old soul. And what else? We got anything else? Oh, my book. In fact, I just tweeted it out. In fact, tomorrow I'm reading my book to a class at Garnet Valley Elementary School. Shima, The Adventures of Shima the Sheba. It's a great little Christmas gift for your little one. If you want to do something educational, if your little one just started to learn to read, or if you enjoy reading to your a child who hasn't yet learned to read, it's a great book about my dog. It's written by my dog through my brain. And I sent out the link today. You can go to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. It's The Adventures of Shima the Sheba by Mike Missanelli. Make for a great gift. I think you'll really enjoy it. I was really proud of it. My illustrator did a great job, so I'm proud of the book. So take a shot. You listen, any reading material is great for your kid. And I think I was clever enough to amuse you with this little book. All right? That do it? All right, Darren. Have a great rest of the night, everybody, and have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you on Monday morning following the big Sunday night game with the Dallas Cowboys. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.